We are officially now kicking off the second quarter of the year. So we've gotten through the first quarter. A lot of things have happened in the last 90 days. And now there's sort of this maturation of what we can expect in the coming year. We're also in the brand new astrological year, which means that the energy is starting fresh again. Hello, welcome to a fresh week and a fresh tea time with a fresh mug. Today we are going to do our April 2023 energy report for business owners. We started doing this last month because I've noticed how much you all are hungry for more metaphysical content mixed in with your business journey here on my channel. So this month we're going to dive into the overarching themes that I have noticed through all the readings I do every month for business owners. The first really big theme that I'm seeing is this need for physical movement. Yes, like actually physically moving your body, physical movement. But it comes up like a physical restlessness, kind of like I just feel like I need to get up and walk, or feel real antsy, not jittery. If you're feeling jittery, maybe lay off the caffeine a little bit. But I just feel really restless, like I'm ready for a really good workout. So if you're feeling physical restlessness, there is definitely a reason for it. One of the things that I think is super useful is to tune into where in the body and in the experience you're having with the physical feeling of restlessness, the need to move your body. Where is that pointing to the need to move your energy astrally? So in your intuitive spaces, in your angelic spaces, however you connect with that liminal space around you, how does the energy need to move? It's being reflected back to you through a physical experience because hello, we're in a human body in this lifetime. This is how we feel things. We feel things in our bodies. And so it is the way that we can tap into the movement that needs to happen with the energy overall. Now, some of you here might be going, wait up, Mary. Are you talking about exercise? Yes, actually I am. Physical health is definitely a theme that is starting to rise and grow and mature as this year moves along. We are officially now kicking off the second quarter of the year. So we've gotten through the first quarter. A lot of things have happened in the last 90 days. And now there's sort of this maturation of what we can expect in the coming year. We're also in the brand new astrological year, which means that the energy is starting fresh again. And health has been growing since pretty much like the second half of 2022. So when we're talking about what's happening inside our health, we really want to think about how am I going to literally get myself moving again? Physical movement is going to give you this energetic fire and momentum in order to get all of those channeled ideas and all of the aspirations and ideals moving into actual offers and products and things that we produce as business owners. It requires literal movement. The way I interpret this is through a couple of things. I have noticed that anything that needs healing or repair is really coming up. From a somatic standpoint, you guys know I love my somatic therapy around here. I really feel like this just means that we are no longer in a freeze state. I feel like we were really alternating between freeze and fight or flight for like the last 3 years. And now we're finally getting out of the freeze state. If you want a visual, I've got one for you. It's kind of like you're driving down the road and you've driven through a long tunnel. It has this feeling of driving through a tunnel and coming out the other side back into the daylight. And what I feel like is that we have been driving through this tunnel over the last 3 years, and we are just now coming out of the tunnel, but I mean just out of the tunnel. So there's still quite a bit of roadway before we get to the next major town. Think about it in terms of where are you going? How are you trying to get there? See if you can feel yourself, visualize for yourself, where are you in relation from just coming outside the tunnel to the next milestone that you want to get to? It'll give you some perspective that you can start to tap into so you can give yourself a little bit of space and grace and realize that you are going somewhere. And by moving your physical body, it's kind of like, in a weird way, like filling that gas tank in that virtual car, so to speak, so that you have more fuel to keep driving just a little bit longer. The next major theme is Who do you do this for? It's no longer about identifying your big why. The big why has been such a huge thing that a lot of entrepreneurs spend entirely too much time just turning their wheels, spinning their wheels on instead of taking action and doing things. And I feel like the energy now is like, okay, let's move on to something else. Let's not get stuck in that point. The why is important, but we need to take action. And how do we take action? We do it for the people we love. Again, it comes back down to the human experience. Our energy is bringing us back down into the human experience so that we can be fully present, because we are not fully present right now. And that is a really, really big thing. As humans, having a human experience, people are our purpose. Even if you say animals are your favorite thing more than people, totally relate. But even when you love animals more than humans, ha ha ha. The truth is that as a human, you are in a collective. And even if it's only one or two special humans that you really live for, that you really connect with, they're still your purpose. So who do you do this for? That is where that fuel for the gas tank is going to come from. And I'll just couch all of this with saying, if you've been searching for a deeper purpose right now, which seems to be a pretty big theme, I've been hearing about it a lot through readings that I've been doing over the past month. I'm looking for my purpose. I feel like I'm at a crossroads. I'm not sure if I should go this way or that way. What is my purpose here? Am I on the right path? All of those kinds of thoughts. If you've been feeling that, you are definitely not alone. And I feel like it's really rooted in this theme, which you can tap into really deeply this month. I'll just tell you that this theme inspired a really beautiful creative project that's already in motion in my world. I'll have previews for you by this summer, but has been a really powerful energy to tap into. So what I can say is that if you need a little bit of evidence, I will give you a little shred of evidence here that it is well worth looking at and digging into. The purpose is not going to leave us alone. It's just going to get louder and ask more from us, because without that connection to the purpose, everything is operating in an old energetic vibration. The third theme that came up was around slowing down in order to have deeper connection. Not slowing down in order to speed up. There's no speeding up on the end of this. It is simply slowing down so you can go deeper and have deeper connections. I feel like this has a lot to do with our attention spans. Unless you've been living under a rock, the past 3 years has asked us to slow down a heck of a lot. It started with a very abrupt putting on the brakes in the universe with a pandemic, quarantine, lockdown, shutdown, however you like to describe that. But we all experienced that time period together. Those collective energies have wanted us to be slowing down since then. And there's been a lot of resistance to that. People have been fighting against it, finding creative ways to get around it. I've been doing it too. I totally know what that feels like. And now it's time to look at, but what does slowing down do for us? So I'm predicting that long form content is making a really big comeback. Again, not quickly, slowly, but definitely surely. I feel like long form content is making a comeback. And why is long form content important in this context? Well, when you think about it, the things that we are building in our businesses aren't easily explained or solved in just 140 characters or less. They are explained and solved in things that take a little bit more time, which means that we really need to finish all of the things that we are consuming. If you are having a hard time right now getting answers to the questions that you have, chances are you're zipping by so fast that you're having to kind of circle back around in order to slow down and then read those road signs again. I'm telling you, this whole analogy of driving in a car down a road at a certain speed has been so prevalent in the energy report for this month. And I think it's a really useful one, because most of us know what it's like to drive a car or at least ride in a vehicle of some sort. We've been somewhere, even if it's just across town. If you've never gone long distances, it's fine. But you know what it's like to go from maybe your home to, say, the grocery store. You know what it's like to go from one place to another. And so by tapping into that experience that you know, it allows you to tap into these energies so you can start to connect with them on a different level. The advice that comes through with this particular theme of slowing down for deeper attention and deeper connection and deeper understanding is to do things in total, to do things in whole, like read the whole article, listen to the whole podcast, watch the whole video, do the whole course, actually finish. It's time to finish what we've started. We have time for it right now, and we can also prioritize what needs to be finished. But this is definitely the year for it, because I'm already starting to feel some of the energies coming in for the following year in 2024. And those energies feel very different. They're faster, but they're not zippy and light. They have a lot of oomph behind them, and they're going to require us to be fully anchored and not be scattered and feel like we're still playing catch up. And just as the theme would suggest, by slowing down to have the deeper connection, this means you're doing everything on 1x speed. So those of you who love to put things on like 3x, 4x, we're going to take it down a couple notches. It's going to feel weird for some of you because you've been just like zipping through content, but not really absorbing it. So actually reading a book from cover to cover, actually spending time with that podcast, go take a walk, get in that movement and listen on 1x speed. If the podcast is a 1-hour podcast, go for a 1-hour walk. If it's a video that needs to be watched, carve out the time for it. Start to see how the energies rebalance around you by being a lot more intentional about how you're consuming all of this data. The fourth theme that came out is around same old patterns emerging. It really came out around these business like guru types or sage from the stage types. And I gotta be honest, they're giving us fantastic collective data right now. You'll notice that they tend to repeat the same old reframes again and again and again. And those refrains no longer work for the energy that we're living in. However, you will notice that they are repeating them more loudly or more frequently, just more. There's sort of this emphasis on, well, if I just say it more, then maybe I can get back some of the flow that used to come to me. But the energies are really rebalancing right now. It's almost like having watched some people hoard a lot of things and not share it with equal distribution. There are a lot of smaller creators who are doing really amazing things, and I'm starting to see them rise in terms of their connection with people because there is more substance behind it, and there's just a fresher take. They're more connected to the now than the old methodologies and the old programs and the old communities were providing previously, but no longer hold the same value. You know, there's this saying that if you smell desperation, like you can almost smell it when it's around you. So this is part of that slowing down to really absorb things on a deeper level. If you're zipping by real fast, you miss some of these really important road markers and signs. So if you're out in the world and you're looking for some advice and you're following some people or you're going to an event and you start to smell the smells of desperation, pay attention. You know when the energy is old and stale. But we're not just going to be mean, cruel people here. We're going to watch these people who came before us. They really paved a way in front of us. What we want to do is watch what they do, continue to watch what they do, and honor them for what they did for us. But this point has new energy that has changed. It's changed the formula on everything. And their formulas also need to go through an evolution, and they will go through those evolutions. But there are leaders who can show you what the new evolution of energy is already asking you to do. And those are the people you want to start paying attention to. They're not going to look the same, they're not going to sound the same, and they're not going to have the same sized followings that we're accustomed to seeing from previous years. I'll tell you that the most obvious way that I have seen this showing up collectively is in a sexualization of business content. It's really surprised the heck out of me. I'm noticing less clothing on, a little more of like a sexy dance, a lot of duck face into the camera, and even using suggestive terms in copy and in content. I just heard about another one today. So surprised where it came from, but it was just additional confirmation as I was channeling this information. And I said, yep, that is definitely a theme for the month, and it helped provide some of the words that we needed to look at this today. Okay, the fifth and final theme for the month is small and mighty. You all know that I love the term small and mighty around here. We've done summits around small and mighty. I'm a big believer that small lists reap big rewards and do great things for a lot of people. But today we're not talking about small and mighty in terms of your list size. We're talking about in terms of the way you make connections with people. Remember, one of the big themes this month is who do you do this for? The big why is still important, but we really need to tap into the who. Who is your purpose? Where does that purpose come from? We are humans connecting with other humans. And this connection piece is just something that's going to start coming up more and more each month in deeper and deeper levels. So for small and mighty, we're talking about more intimate settings when it comes to your group activities in business. We're not talking about the massive courses or huge events that have been going on. Not that they don't have value, and not that you totally can't go and have a whole bunch of fun while you're doing it. But if you're at a conference, and just newsflash here, my whole calendar for the year is set up with conference after conference. I love conferences. I think they're fantastic. So conferences are not going anywhere. Don't worry. If you're a lover of big festivals, don't worry. They still have their value. But what you'll notice when you go to them, if you choose to go to them, is that the real value you take home is going to come increasingly less and less from sitting in a chair passively watching a speaker on a stage. You'll still get value from that. And that will be the draw that brings everybody collectively together. However, the conversations you have with people off on the sidelines, in that side room, or at lunch or dinner, or over coffee in the morning, those are the things that are going to bring you the highest amount of value. They are these small and mighty interactions that give you the magic that you are meant to take home with you. And reconnecting with people in general, I'm just going to kind of stick this here like a little bookmark leading into the month of May, because I feel like this energy is really going to show up in the month of May, but it's in a very early stage right now in April. But it's this idea of what some of my friends and I are calling conscious socialization. We are consciously choosing to make time to spend time with people in certain contexts. We are relearning how to be fully present with each other and also do activities that light us up. I think one of the most genius ways to engage with this type of energy this month is to consciously socialize with people that you have chosen for a very specific reason to do certain things with you, because you know that it feels right. You know that they match your energy level on what it is you're trying to engage in. And it gives you a chance to practice reconnecting with yourself and with others, and just kind of dip your toe in the water. It's not something you have to do forever. By doing something on the local level in your home environment, and by home, it could be literally inside your home, or it could be, say, within your city, some kind of in-person interaction. It's going to enable you to start opening up those doorways. It's going to help you get through that tunnel that you're driving through and keep going down the road a little bit more so that you can start getting to the next major milestone, because the next major milestones ahead require us to interact with each other. And it's not going to be exactly like it used to be. It's not meant to. It's not supposed to. But in the new energetic age that we are in, we do need to reconnect with each other. And it's sort of like a pendulum swinging back and forth. We went real hard over to one side of being socially isolated, and the way our habits changed were very dramatic. The way we started interacting with each other changed by leaps and bounds, and now it's time to bring all those worlds back together again so that we can have deeper connections. We can start servicing for each other on a much more valuable level, and it will lead us into the energy that's coming in the second half of this year, which is much more bright and open. It feels like a very bright, warm, sunshiny day, has a delicious smell to it, but it's very vibrant and it's very active. And so consider this period right now almost like a warm up. You need to warm up your body. You need to warm up your vocal cords. You got to sort of warm that engine back up so that we can start utilizing it again. It's time. You can totally do this. I hope you enjoyed the energy report. I think these energies are really gorgeous. It's been a while since I have felt this kind of excitement and there's sort of this buzz that's around everybody. I'm really picking up on it. Some of it feels very confusing. Sometimes change feels intimidating and hard, but just know that everything is at the right time right now. And I encourage you to give some of these suggestions from the energy report a try. I'd love to hear about how they worked from you. Feel free to leave me comments below the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Click that little bell to get the notifications. And if you have a friend who could really use this message, feel free to share the video with them. I will see you next week. I'm super excited to see what we do this month together. And remember to be sensible, be woo, but most of all, be you.